They became stars fighting on TV, but the real drama exploded once the cameras stopped rolling. Les Gold, the patriarch of the Gold family, lost a staggering $500,000 in a scam. His daughter, Ashley, walked away from the family business, and one of the show's cast members. They're now raking in a jaw-dropping $900,000 a year on OnlyFans. Now, 15 years after hardcore porn first premiered, the Gold family's most shocking secrets are coming to light: feuds, fake scenes, and the untold stories of the cast members. It all started in 1998 when TV producer Richard Dominic was watching The Jerry Springer Show and saw a local commercial from Detroit. It featured a pawnbroker named Les Gold. Les had a sharp voice, a commanding presence, and a certain energy that stuck with you. Richard couldn't forget him, but nothing happened right away. It wasn't until over a decade later that the idea would turn into something real. In 2009, True TV finally approved the concept. The plan? To take cameras into Les Gold's pawn shop, but not everyone was on board. Les's family wasn't thrilled about airing their personal lives and their customers' business on national television. Despite their hesitation, they decided to take the plunge. On August 16, 2010, Hardcore Porn premiered, instantly pulling in 2 million viewers, making it the most watched debut in True TV history. But this wasn't just any pawn shop. American Jewelry and Loan had already made a name for itself in Detroit. Opening its doors in 1978 at the Green 8 shopping center, the shop moved to a massive 50,000 square foot location on 8 Mile Road in 1993. On any given day, about 1,000 people walked through its doors. And the show captured it all. What viewers saw was a chaotic world of angry customers, heated arguments, and security guards stepping in to break up fights. People stormed out, some of them dragged out kicking and screaming. All of it, raw, unfiltered, and real, played out on screen. Unlike porn stars, which showcased rare items and calm negotiations, hardcore porn wasn't afraid to show the tension, the drama, and the messiness of the porn business. Les Gold believed this was the honest truth. He felt the show gave people a real look at what it was like working in a pawn shop in a city where money was tight and emotions often ran high. And that authenticity paid off. By June 2013, the show was drawing in over 3 million viewers per episode, with the season 6 finale attracting a record-breaking 3.4 million. Making it the highest-rated episode in Truv's history. It became the #1 unscripted show in its Tuesday time slot. But as the saying goes, nothing lasts forever. By 2014, cracks began to show. Viewership started to dip. During season 9, the ratings kept dropping. Fans began to question whether the show was as real as it once claimed to be. Some scenes began to feel staged. A critic from the New York Post even called out its authenticity. The Gold family firmly denied it, but the doubt lingered. Around that same time, Rich Pyle, a key figure in the shop, left to host a new show called Meltdown on National Geographic. His departure only fueled the feeling that things were falling apart behind the scenes. And they were. True TV was already planning a major shift. In May 2013, Chris Lynn became the network's new president, and he believed that the channel had become too focused on conflict-driven programming. Chris Lynn had a new vision. He wanted to shift the entire tone of True TV. By April 2014, he announced a full rebrand. The focus would be on comedy. Shows like Impractical Jokers had already proven to be a hit, and True TV wanted more of that light-hearted, fun content. By October 2014, the network launched a new campaign called Way More Fun, rebranding itself as the new True TV. Serious reality shows like Hardcore Porn no longer fit into the channel's new direction. Once the series ended, each cast member went their separate ways. But in 2021, when many businesses were still struggling post-pandemic, Les Gold was not just surviving, he was expanding. He opened 3 new pawn shop locations in Southgate, Lincoln Park, and Hazel Park. It wasn't a rash decision. In fact, back in 2019, Les had already mapped out a plan to expand beyond Detroit's famed 8 Mile Road. When the opportunity came, he was ready. The timing couldn't have been better. Commercial real estate prices had dropped to their lowest point in decades, and property owners were eager to make deals. But securing the Southgate and Lincoln Park locations wasn't easy. Negotiations dragged on for months, but Les didn't delegate the work, he handled it personally. Together with his son, Seth, Les used the family's TV fame as leverage to land favorable lease terms. Developers were hungry for well-known names to drive foot traffic. Les gave them that. The new shops were modeled after the original 50,000 square foot Detroit location, emphasizing direct, no-nonsense negotiation with customers. This was the same approach that had made Hardcore Porn a hit. These new stores didn't just provide a service, they brought nearly 200 jobs to Wayne County. But Les's surprises didn't stop there. In late 2016, he made an unexpected appearance on Chopped on the Food Network, a pawnbroker competing in a high-stakes cooking challenge. No one saw that coming. But Les wasn't just a businessman, he had learned to cook as a kid in Detroit. With his parents working long hours at his grandfather's pawn shop, Les became the one making meals at home. And he didn't just cook simple dishes. His grandfather had taught him traditional Mediterranean recipes that stayed with him. On Chopped, Les used those culinary skills to impress the judges, treating the challenge like a business negotiation: quick thinking, clear choices, and no panic. While he didn't win, he showcased a completely different side of himself that viewers didn't expect. Fast forward to December 2022, and Les was back in the spotlight. He hosted a charity auction at the Detroit flagship store, raising money for the Heat and Warmth Fund during the brutal Michigan winter. The event, called Hardcore Thor, brought in $40,000 in just 3 hours. Les auctioned off 25 items donated by local celebrities and sports stars, with one of the biggest wins being a signed Red Wings jersey that sold for $7,800. Les ran the auction like he ran his business: fast, direct, and bold. Attendees said he controlled the room from beginning to end. When the total hit $35,000, Les didn't wait for a fanfare. He quietly added the final $5,000 himself, making it clear that this wasn't just about raising money. It was about helping those in need. Rumors of bankruptcy had surfaced in 2018 due to a bad business deal where Les lost $500,000 in a scam, but that didn't break him. By 2025, his net worth had remained steady at $5 million. The pawn shops were still thriving, and his book, For What It's Worth, had even made it to number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list. When Seth Gold joined American Jewelry and Loan in 2009, he didn't just step into his father's world, he saw something his father hadn't. While Les had successfully run the pawn shop for decades, Seth noticed the business was missing something critical: an online presence. In a world rapidly shifting to digital, that gap was a problem Seth was determined to fix. He launched their first e-commerce platform, a risky move at the time when most pawn shops still relied on walk-in traffic. But it paid off, big time. Seth Gold believed in the power of e-commerce. It wasn't just a hunch. It was a vision that, over time, paid off. By 2018, the digital side of their business accounted for 30% of total revenue. But that shift didn't just bring in money, it revolutionized how the store operated. The physical location was open only 9 hours a day, but the online store never closed. This new digital momentum spurred growth, and soon new locations opened in Hazel Park and Pontiac. The company was now poised for 20% annual growth, with total revenue moving into the $5-10 million range. For a pawn shop in Detroit, this was a monumental leap forward. But Seth wasn't content with just growth. He pushed boundaries. On July 17, 2013, he was named National Pawnbroker of the Year at the prestigious Pawn Expo in Las Vegas. It was the highest honor in the industry, and Seth earned it by more than just increasing sales. He transformed how people viewed pawn shops. He advocated for better media representation, stronger community outreach, and modern business practices. The win was especially meaningful because it came over his own father, Les Gold. Les was a legend in the pawn industry, but Seth was quickly being recognized as the future. In 2014, Seth took another bold step. He teamed up with Stephen Kogler to launch Power to the Grid, a job program designed to match people with autism to jobs that suited their specific talents. They opened a training center inside the pawn shop and hired based on ability rather than resumes. One of the first hires was Michael Sancharico, a graduate from Western Michigan University with skills in photography and Photoshop. Though he struggled to find steady work, Seth gave him a chance, and Michael's efforts helped improve their online listings, showing that hiring for talent was smart business, not just charity. Seth made it clear, these employees weren't just doing good work, they were helping the business grow. In late 2018, Seth began planning a bold new move. A second Detroit location, this time focused on luxury items like watches and high-end jewelry. While the original store catered to a different crowd, this new venture would target a more affluent market. After analyzing sales data, Seth noticed that silver and diamonds were now selling 3 times more than gold, signaling a clear demand. This wasn't just about luxury, it was about adapting to the times. That same forward-thinking mindset led Seth to launch Fast Pawn in 2019, in partnership with PawnMate Inc. It was an online service that allowed customers to renew loans or make payments without coming into the store. The new system made the process faster, easier, and fit perfectly with Seth's bigger goal: bringing the pawn industry into the future while keeping the essentials that made it successful. But not everyone in the Gold family had the same vision. Ashley Gold, who had been part of hardcore pawn from the beginning, knew the business better than anyone. The show launched on August 16, 2010, and ran until April 6, 2015, spanning 9 seasons and 162 episodes. For viewers, it looked like a fast-paced, wild environment filled with heated arguments and intense deals. But for Ashley, the reality was something else entirely. By 2015, Ashley had hit a breaking point. The monotony of her daily routine was draining. She'd wake up, put on the same black sweater, the same jeans, and the same shoes, and go through the same motions. In a 2016 interview, she described it as her Groundhog Day moment. Her health was deteriorating, her family life was suffering, and deep down, she realized she wasn't happy anymore. Tensions between Ashley and Les had always been high, both on and off camera. Their constant arguments on the show were a reflection of the strain in their personal relationship. Behind the scenes, things weren't any better. Seth had his own ideas about how to market the business, while Les stuck to tradition. Ashley found herself caught in the middle, with the cameras always rolling. Every argument became part of the show, and the pressure was unbearable. By early 2015, Ashley knew it was time to walk away. Leaving wasn't easy. This was her family's legacy, after all, but she wanted more than to just be known as Les Gold's daughter. She wanted to build her own life, her own future. In 2015, Ashley Gold took a bold step into the world of entrepreneurship. She launched Pawn Chick Shopping, starting with an online store that focused on the latest jewelry trends she personally selected. Ashley traveled across the country, handpicking pieces that would appeal to her growing customer base. Her inventory always included around 500 items, ranging from $15 costume jewelry to fine pieces worth up to $3,000. In interviews, she often mentioned how people trusted her taste, and that trust became the foundation of her brand. She didn't just build a store, she built a reputation. Ashley dressed celebrities and developed a loyal customer base that spanned the country. She ensured that her shop continued to grow, always staying ahead of trends and keeping her products fresh. In 2019, Ashley rebranded her business as ashleygold.com. That same year, she entered the Verge pitch competition run by the Detroit Garment Group, and won. By then, Ashley had already appeared on major networks like CNN, Fox News, HLN, Good Morning America, and The Today Show, using her TV fame to create something real and lasting. But Ashley didn't stop there. In March 2019, she launched Pawn Chick Radio, a podcast where she talked about fashion, personal stories, and her experiences in the porn world. It was here, in a candid moment, that she opened up about her time on hardcore porn. While she didn't go into every detail, she confirmed what many had already suspected: some scenes were staged. In one episode, a guest named Big Daddy even mentioned how people were told exactly what to say. Ashley explained how producers pushed for conflict. They wanted arguments, drama, and tension. Unlike porn stars, which focused on the history and value of items, hardcore porn was all about creating compelling drama. That approach made the show a hit, but it also made her job incredibly difficult. Then came 2020. The pandemic turned Ashley's life upside down. Schools shut down, and parents found themselves thrust into the role of teachers, guiding their children through online classes. At that time, Ashley's kids were 13 and 15. She helped them with homework, ran her business from home, and no longer worked 70-hour weeks. The constant filming of episodes was over. Now, she was the one driving the carpool and spending more time with her family. She had finally created a life that allowed her the balance she had long sought. Meanwhile, Rich Pyle, a familiar face from hardcore porn, was navigating his own troubles. After 25 years working at American Jewelry and Loan, Rich had become one of the most recognized figures on the show. With his spiked hair, long goatee, and larger-than-life confidence, he had become a standout. But in 2012, everything changed. What seemed like a minor argument on camera actually marked the breaking point of a much larger issue. An internal audit had raised serious concerns about Rich's spending habits. The audit revealed that he may have used company credit cards for personal expenses and possibly inflated reimbursement claims. When Les Gold confronted him about it, the conversation quickly escalated. Rich defended himself, saying that his years of loyalty to the business should count for more than any mistake. In a shocking moment, he even claimed that he cared more about the business than Les' own children, Seth and Ashley. That remark made things even worse. Les, visibly frustrated, told Rich to leave the store immediately. The intense confrontation, which aired on camera, marked the end of their 25-year friendship. However, Rich wasn't ready to walk away just yet. The next morning, he returned, hoping for a second chance. It was October 2012, and the tension between them was palpable. Rich Pyle showed up early the next day, looking visibly shaken. He was determined to apologize and salvage his career. Seth Gold, understanding the value of Rich's experience and connection with customers, tried to set up a meeting with Les. He argued that Rich's knowledge was irreplaceable, and his bond with the clientele was an asset the shop couldn't afford to lose. But Les remained firm. The internal audit, showing financial misconduct, was too serious a risk. The meeting lasted less than 20 minutes. Rich was out of the business, and soon after, his character was written off the show. Rich left Detroit, but he didn't disappear from the spotlight. He tried running his own gold business, but it didn't last long. Then, in 2018, he took an unexpected turn in his career. He became the host of Whole Nation, a show that followed the American Cornhole organization across the country. Rich brought the same high-energy, larger-than-life presence from hardcore porn to the cornhole world, running the ACO Game Zone challenges and creating excitement at events. His wife, Tracy, helped film the show, giving it that small, family-run vibe that had defined his years at the pawn shop. As he built a new audience in the world of cornhole, Rich didn't shy away from speaking about the behind-the-scenes realities of hardcore porn. Without violating his contract, he hinted at how much of the show's drama was manufactured. He revealed that producers often recruited people from outside the store, handed them scripts, and had them sign release forms. He even claimed that some of the rare items featured on the show were planted, with producers scouring the internet to bring in these items and make the storylines look authentic. While real deals still happened, by 2013 and 2014, most of the major arguments were either staged or reenacted by actors. It was all part of the strategy to keep viewers hooked. Bobby Janietz never intended to be a reality TV star. When he first joined American Jewelry and Loan during the first season of Hardcore Porn, he was just looking for a job. Seth Gold hired him to handle basic merchandise tasks, like managing t-shirts. But as soon as Bobby stepped in, the cameras were already rolling. From day one, he was thrown into a much bigger world. As filming picked up, so did Bobby's involvement. His natural energy caught the producers' attention, and when Rich left the show, Bobby quickly filled the gap. The producers didn't waste time. They asked Bobby if he wanted to be featured more. He agreed, and that decision changed his career. Bobby stayed at the pawn shop until 2016, even after the show wrapped in 2015. But when he left, he walked away for good. He never returned to the porn business, and over time, he began to open up about the true nature of hardcore porn. Through interviews and social media, Bobby shared how the show's focus was always on drama, not authenticity. While the pawn shop was real, the way it was portrayed often wasn't. Bobby explained how producers were always looking for conflict, bold personalities, and tension. The pay, he said, was minimal. While the show brought in millions of viewers, the supporting cast didn't see much of that profit. He revealed that during contract negotiations, producers often pitched the show as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to avoid raising salaries. It was more about exposure than fairness. Bobby also talked about how cast members were expected to maintain their characters even when the cameras weren't rolling. This constant blurring of the line between reality and performance was exhausting. One of Bobby's viral TikTok videos even referenced the firing of Rich Pyle, suggesting that what happened behind the scenes was often more brutal than anything viewers saw on TV. After leaving the porn business, Bobby found new opportunities. In 2017, Bars Products, a major name in automotive maintenance, approached him. They wanted him to be their spokesperson, and Bobby's on-camera experience made him a perfect fit. The deal was worth $175,000 a year, more than double what he made at the pawn shop. Bobby became the face of the brand, appearing at trade shows and starring in over 30 commercials. His partnership with Bars Products not only brought steady income but also a platform to reach a wider audience. By 2019, Bobby's social media following had exploded. He used his platform to further promote Bars Products, helping the brand expand into over 40,000 stores across the country. But things took an unexpected turn in 2021. After doing voiceover work for Michigan radio stations, Bobby made a move no one saw coming. He launched an OnlyFans account featuring explicit content. Within 3 months, he had more than 15,000 subscribers, each paying nearly $30 a month. For many fans of hardcore porn, this was a shock, and the backlash came swiftly, especially on platforms like Facebook and Reddit. But Bobby didn't back down. He embraced the controversy, using it to fuel his success and push boundaries in ways few would have predicted. Bobby explained in a podcast interview that voiceover work just wasn't cutting it. Payments were inconsistent, and opportunities were limited. But OnlyFans, it offered both control and income. It was a business decision, one he firmly stood by. But soon, legal trouble followed. In September 2023, Warner Bros. Discovery, the parent company of True TV, sent Bobby a cease and desist letter, a hefty 12-page document. It accused him of using hardcore porn footage and branding on his social media and personal website without permission. The letter listed 37 specific examples, including clips he had used in a YouTube series where he analyzed old episodes, a series that pulled in over 500,000 views in just 3 months. Bobby had even used screenshots and promotional flyers for public speaking gigs where he charged up to $5,000 per appearance. Warner Bros. Made it clear he had no ownership of the show's content. By November, Bobby had stripped every reference to hardcore porn from his online presence, avoiding further legal issues. But the drama surrounding the Gold family didn't end there. In March 2012, American Jewelry and Loan faced an unexpected betrayal. Joel, Big Joe, Shannon, the head of security who had worked there for 3 years and was personally hired by Les Gold, was caught stealing. Hidden cameras captured him taking small amounts of scrap gold over several weeks. Just enough to go unnoticed at first, but it added up to around $7,000. The arrest was filmed during season 6, as police walked into the store and arrested Shannon right in front of Les. His shock was palpable. "This is my loyal head of security that I trust," Les said, voice filled with disbelief. The betrayal was a hard blow. Big Joe was immediately fired and charged with felony theft. It was a public downfall that left a mark on the show. But Big Joe didn't disappear. In late 2016, he launched a new business called High Gear Transportation in Livonia, Michigan. Starting with just 2 trucks, it was a small local operation. But over time, it grew into a regional business, with 15 trucks by 2023 and clients across the Midwest. Despite the scandal, Shannon stayed connected to the Gold family in a small way. By 2019, Seth Gold began hiring High Gear for delivery jobs between store locations. It took nearly 3 years, but the trust was rebuilt, and Shannon had transformed into a respected business owner, employing over 20 people. Then there was Fielding Teichman, known as Felix. A fan favorite for his calm demeanor in the midst of chaos, Felix always stepped in when needed. But in early 2015, he suddenly disappeared from the show. Behind the scenes, there was a contract dispute. During negotiations for season 8, Felix asked for a raise, believing his growing role and popularity deserved it, but the production company refused. Tensions rose, and in February 2015, Felix walked off set during filming, causing chaos for the crew. He later hired a lawyer to reopen negotiations, but by then, the show had already moved on. New security staff had been brought in, and producers were no longer interested in bringing Felix back. By 2016, Felix had relocated to Austin, Texas, turning down interviews and staying out of the spotlight. He wanted to leave that part of his life behind, and he did. These weren't just moments in a reality show. They were real lives, real consequences. Behind the scripted tension and dramatic scenes, these stories showed what happened when things became too real to hide.